Good morning. See if I can get my laptop synced up here. Turn the volume off so it won't be dinging the whole time we're talking. Oops, I'm sideways. Hang on. There we go. That's better. Okay. My computer keeps popping up all of my calendar events. That's a little distracting. And so I'm going to try to not pay attention to it. I still haven't figured out how to do these live videos on my phone and be able to see the comments on my phone, so I have to look at them on my laptop, which I have down here. And for some reason, I have a camera on my laptop, but for some reason Facebook won't let me do the live videos from my laptop. It'll only give me that option on my phone. So if anybody has the answer to that, let me know. Otherwise, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. How are y'all this morning? I hope you had a good weekend. Mine was busy. They're just, I don't know. My weekends need to slow down. They wear me out. I'm probably, we'll get started because it's time. And I'm home today, which is the first Monday, and it feels like forever. So we won't be quite so rushed, but and if I keep you too long, I apologize. And if you have to leave, I totally understand. You can always come back and watch this later. And I'll tell you up front that this one will probably be a little emotional for me because I'm sharing my journey with you. But first, before I get into that, there's been a ongoing subject on the board that I'd like to address once and for all, and hopefully be able to put this to rest. One of the rules, and we only have 3, but one of the rules on the board is that we don't discuss politics at all. We all are probably at our age, maybe in the younger groups it might be different, I don't know. But at our age, we're all very passionate, I would think, about our political beliefs. And regardless of what side of the fence you're on, you're going to have strong beliefs, most likely. I'm not trying to convince you to come over to my side, and I don't want you to try to convince me to come over to yours. What I want is for us to just all get along. When I was growing up, and when my kids were growing up, I probably used this same phrase that my parents used on me, and you've probably heard it a time or two. But my mother would always say, when I was upset about something, she would say, well, you got your same clothes to get glad in. I'm going to use that on the board. I don't care if I never see the cartoon of that stupid scale again. I can't tell you how many times over the weekend we deleted it. It's not because it's not funny, because it may be funny to you, but it provokes political opinions given the unrest in our nation. And the only thing that's going to come of posting that scale is getting people riled up, and we're not going to do it. So if you keep posting it, we're going to keep deleting it. And that's it. We're not going to do it. We live in a world where people are easily offended. I'd like to tell you that I'm offended that people are so easily offended, but you know, I just turned 58 years old, and I honestly believe that just grow up. You know, there are major issues in life to be offended about, and that's one thing, but we don't need to get offended by every little thing. Now, here's the new rule on the board. We will block and we will delete anything that is political or any subject that the comments turn political, we will close comments. We will delete anything that is pornographic, and by that, I guess I get to be the judge of that. We will delete anything that is racially offensive. But aside from that, if something just offends you, maybe everybody else is finding it funny, maybe you don't see the humor in it, but it offends you, you need to scroll by and just ignore it. We're not going to delete it just because it offends you. Or there's lots of posts on here that offend me, but I don't delete them. I just ignore them. If you can't scroll past it, block that person. But we're not going to, please don't report posts to us anymore that just offend you, because we don't have time with 45,000 people to deal with, 10 or 20,000 of you being offended by different posts. Okay? So that's the deal on that. All right. Hopefully we don't have to say any more about that. We can move on past. Political things are never allowed, so please don't post them. They'll get deleted. And if you keep posting them, you'll get deleted. Okay. That's all of that. I'm going to tell you my product for the day is these little things, Werther's Originals Sugar-Free Caramel. These are good in a pinch. They are, let me open my package here. Sorry, it's noisy. Let's see. They come packaged like this. 5 of them are 1 Smart Point. I keep some in my purse because, every now and then you just need to put something in your mouth. Sometimes during church, if I don't eat before I go to church, if I don't eat enough, my stomach starts growling, and I don't want it doing that when it's quiet, so I'll, pop one of those in my mouth. But 5 for 1 Smart Point. So, and I think they come in different flavors. I don't know, but that's mine. My easy recipe for today, and I already put it in the crock pot, or I'd show you. I bought a roast, a lean trimmed roast, and put it in the crock pot, and I threw in some carrots, I threw in some corn, I threw in some green beans, some salt and pepper, and it's in the crock pot for 8 hours, and that'll be our dinner and 2 lunches for the week. Can't tell you how many points because I won't know until I measure the roast and divide it up into our containers, but it's going to be pretty low, and it's another easy way to get some vegetables in, and just an easy thing to do. So that's my recipe for you for the week. That's another easy one. Okay. I'm working on, I bought a product a couple of weeks ago, and I've been using it faithfully at night on my feet, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the results, and I'll tell you about it in a week or maybe next Monday's video. I emailed the company that I bought it from to see if they would be interested in giving us a discount if I share it with you. So I'll let you know about that next week. But I'm loving the results. My feet feel so soft. They feel like I just had a pedicure. And so I'm always on the lookout for, something good like that. So stay tuned on that one. My skincare torture device that I told you I'd tell you about, it's a beef pork roast, Michelle. We don't like pork. It's not a religious thing at all. I eat bacon, so obviously it's not that. But like pork tenderloin, pork roast, pork chops, ham. My husband gets a giant ham from his company every year at Thanksgiving, and I cook it for our kids. They like it, but I don't like the smell of pork. So that's just one of my little weird things. So hang on, I need coffee. Jerry, the recipe is so crazy, it's not a recipe. I put a beef roast in my crock pot. I added some carrots, some whole kernel corn, and some green beans, and salt and pepper, and it's cooking for 8 hours. And you can't even call it a recipe. But we'll get supper out of it tonight, and then there's enough roast and vegetables in there that I'll package up 2 lunches for us this week. So that took care of a few meals. Okay, back to my skincare thing. I'm always on the lookout for good skincare. My mom aged very poorly, and so I didn't want to do that, and I try really hard to take good care. And there are a lot of great products out there that you can buy, and some of them are really expensive, and I don't want to spend that much money if I don't have to. So I had bought several years ago a little device from, I think it was, well, I won't tell you what company it was, because I don't want anybody to say I'm slamming their product, because I'm not. It was a good product. It was just very costly. And so I found a much, much, much cheaper version and have been using it faithfully for quite a while now, and I think it's made a considerable difference. Now, you'll have to forgive me today because I didn't sleep a lot last night, and my husband and I did some serious soul search talking over the last few days on some projects for our future, and so when I go to sleep with something like that in my head, I can't sleep. But anyway, so I had bags under my eyes today. But two things I do for the wrinkles, on my forehead and right through here around my eyes and the area under my eyes. This area under our eyes as we age, ladies, starts getting thinner and it loses volume. And so every night before I go to bed and every morning before I put my makeup on, after I put my contacts in, I put this under my eyes. It's bio oil, and it's by, who's the company? Well, I guess that's the brand, Bio Oil. And see how much is missing? I've been using this for a year, morning and night. So this bottle, and I think I got it at Costco, and I think I paid about, I don't know, $10 or $12 for it, and it will literally last me for years, because it just, I'll show you what I do. It has a little, I do that, and then I rub that under my eyes. Every night after I wash my face, take my makeup off, take my contacts out, I do that. And then every morning after I put my contacts in, I do it again. And it adds moisture back into that area that gets that crepey look. And so that's one of the things I do. My torture device, this is the one I told you I bought a few years ago from another company and used it and liked the results. Then I ended up giving it to my daughter. I don't know why. But so I wanted to buy another one, but I didn't want to spend the crazy amount of money that I spent before. So I found it from on Amazon, and it's surgical grade. This is my torture device. It's a micro needle roller. Derma roller, some people call it. This one, you can get it in 3 different sizes, 0.25, 0.5, and I think 1.0. I have the 0.25, and this one is the 0.5. It's a roller, and it has little surgical needles on it. And before you freak out, it doesn't hurt, but if you're very sensitive, you can put lidocaine that you can get from the drugstore on your face and, let it sit for a couple of minutes, kind of numb a little bit. I don't anymore, but you're not bearing down. But what I do, and I have makeup on, so I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to show you. Twice a week at night. I do it on Wednesday nights and Saturday nights. That's my routine. I roll across my forehead 10 times this way, and then I roll up and down 10 times and side to side 10 times. I do that across my forehead. I also do it in this area. Don't get right under your eye, but this from here all the way back, and you don't bear down, just, lightly. You'll feel it, but I do that 10 times this way, and then I do it 10 times this way. I also go over my lips. What it's doing is we start losing collagen as we age, and this stimulates the regrowth of collagen. It's making little tiny holes, and it's telling your body, your nervous system, there's an injury there, and so your body sends collagen to heal what it thinks is an injury, and it kind of plumps it up again. After I do it, I spray it with rubbing alcohol, and then I let it air dry, and then I put it back in the container. I do that twice a week, like I said, Wednesdays and Saturdays, and I have seen, a pretty good difference in my skin. Obviously, I still have wrinkles. I have one right here because I frown too much, and only Botox is going to fix that. Anyway, that's a whole different story. This one, though, I bought on Amazon. I'll tell you the company. I'm sorry, that's shiny. The company I bought it from originally, I paid a lot of money. This one I bought on Amazon for $9. And if you take care of it, clean it, you'll be good to go. And like I said, you can get it different sizes if you're interested. Okay. That's all of that. Do I use it before moisturizer? Yes. I wash my face before I do anything else. After my face dries, I do my derma roller. And then immediately after that, I use serums. Whatever serums you use. I use one that has, oh, I wish I brought it in here. I'll post the ones that I'm using now. And I'm not married to any particular product. I try, I get the freebies from the makeup counter. I just make sure they have good ingredients. But I put my serum in my hand and I put my drops of vitamin C in my serum, and then I pat that all over my face and I let that dry. Then I put my moisturizer on after that. Once a week, I add to my moisturizer like a pea-size amount of, oh, good Lord, my brain just went for, I'll think of it in a minute. The cream that you use for acne. I'll think of it. I'll tell you. I'll post it. And I put that on. That helps shed the dry skin on your face. When you first start using it, you'll really shed. But I don't shed too much anymore. But then I put my moisturizer on and go to bed with it, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Retin-A, thank you. That's it. Yeah, Retin-A. I use it once a week. So that's my part of my skincare routine. I'm not an expert by any means. I don't sell anything, but if you want to know more, if you want me to show you exactly what I do, I'll be happy to do that. It's just I'm a nut about makeup and skincare. So that's my thing. How do you know what good ingredients are? Well, chemical peels and use a skincare I use Retin-A. I use a good moisturizer. I use a good serum. Maybe I'll do a video on my morning routine and my night routine. Y'all let me know if you have any interest at all in that, and if you do, I'll do it. But just so this one doesn't get too long, I'll move along, but just let me know if you have any interest in that, and if so, maybe we'll do a morning skincare routine video and then a night skincare routine, and I'll share with you what I use. But anyway, okay, I said I would share my journey. I have a Kleenex because this may get emotional, and I apologize in advance if I do get emotional, but my journey is emotional. This is probably going to tell you more than you ever wanted to know about me, but just in case you are wondering, or if you think, well, nobody can relate to me, hopefully you'll feel a little bit different after this video. Okay, I am the 6th of 7 children. My parents were in their mid-40s when I was born, and so I think by the time I was born, they were kind of tired of parenting. My youngest brother and I, we had a different upbringing than the older kids. I think for that reason. I think they were just tired, and I understand that now. Today would have been my dad's 101st birthday, so I'm a little emotional about that because I was a daddy's girl, so he's on my mind today. But anyway, I saw my siblings as being very confident and very successful and very outgoing, and I was exactly opposite of that. I have had low self-esteem issues my entire life. Like, I can't even tell you. I'm the girl, even to this day, if I walk into a room and people are laughing, I'm instantly confident that they're laughing at me. I don't like to put myself out. This is so outside of my comfort zone to do these. I can't even tell you. So, but anyway, low self-esteem has always been something that I struggled with. I didn't have weight problems when I was a kid. I was the skinny girl, but I heard so many times from people, well, just wait. You just wait. That weight is going to come on, because I could eat anything. And I believed them. And I figured, well, that's just what's going to happen, so there's nothing I can do about it. I started Weight Watchers for the first time when I was 24. My youngest daughter was 3. Y'all probably have heard, I got married at 17 and had 3 kids by the time I was 21. So when my youngest daughter was 3, I decided that I had gained weight and I needed to get it off, and I had heard about Weight Watchers, and so we couldn't afford it, but I joined anyway. I don't even know how many weeks I went that time before I quit. I don't even know how many times I have gone back to Weight Watchers and quit. I would guess a dozen. Sometimes I quit because I didn't like the leader. Sometimes I quit because the first week came along that I didn't lose. And so 1 week of not losing and I decided that Weight Watchers didn't work. Sometimes I quit because I heard about another latest, greatest fad diet, that would work better, so I quit. I could go on and on and on. I quit more times than I care to admit. I've tried everything. I tried the shakes. I tried diet pills several times. I tried everything. I tried starvation. I went through a period in the early 90s where I just stopped eating. I was counting my calories, and I was losing on 1,000 calories, so I reduced it to 750. Thought I'd lose faster, and I did. That worked so well, I reduced it to 600, and that worked so well, I reduced it even more. And I stopped eating, and my hair was falling out. I was losing my vision. I had horrible breath. My husband finally pulled me aside one day and was so angry and said, "Do you realize what you're doing? You're letting your kids see you kill yourself." So lots of prayer got me past that, and but then my weight just ballooned because I had gone for several months with no caloric intake, and so everything I ate immediately, turned to fat. At my highest weight, I weighed 192 pounds, and I'm 5 feet 2 inches tall, and so I've done it all. There's not a program out there that you can think of. There's not a diet that you can think of that I haven't tried at least once. I've done low carb. I've done it all. And yet I kept coming back to Weight Watchers. I went to Weight Watchers with groups of people. I went with members of my family. I went with friends. And I would do fine for a while, and then, if they quit, I quit. If the teacher said, or the leader said something I didn't agree with, I quit. If the scale didn't like me that week, I quit. I was just a quitter. I wasn't committed to the program. So last October, I decided I was going to go back to Weight Watchers, and this time the leader, although we're vastly different, there was something about her that I felt like she got me. I felt like she was talking to me. And I decided this time I was not going to quit. I didn't care how long it took. I didn't want to be that person anymore. So here's my rock bottom story. My sister-in-law, who's on this group, she's very quiet. She doesn't post. But she knows this story because she was there that day. She had no idea what was going on, and she would have been so horrified. My brother and sister came into town for Thanksgiving. My family was getting together, so the day before Thanksgiving, she and I went shopping, and we went into a cute little trendy store that she liked to shop at. I had never shopped there because they didn't carry my size. I think at the time I was wearing an 18 and hit it very well. But we went into the store, and it was very quiet that day. I think there were 3 girls working in the store, cute little girls. And my sister-in-law is very, very attractive and has a wonderful figure. And it was a great store for her. And so she gathered up some clothes and she was trying them on, and I was walking around, and I realized that none of the salespeople were talking to me. I saw other people come in the store and they immediately would go offer to help them find something. It was like I was invisible. And I never felt so out of place in a store in my life. And I wanted to hide. I wanted to run because I knew that I didn't belong in there, or I felt like that's what they were thinking, that I didn't belong there. There's no point in trying to help this lady because we don't sell anything that she can wear. So to keep from being totally humiliated, I bought a couple of scarves for my girls for Christmas presents, and I had to go find somebody and ask them to check me out. And when I asked the girl, I said, can I pay you? In my mind, and this may not have been reality, but in my mind, I felt like she looked at me like, oh, I didn't even realize you were here, kind of thing. So fast forward, I started Weight Watchers in October, and I decided I'm not giving up. I don't care how long it takes me. I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to lose this weight once and for all. And once I made that decision, and once I stopped looking at the clock and thinking, oh my gosh, I have to lose 5 pounds by this date, I just stopped doing that. If it takes me 2 years, it takes me 2 years. I didn't care, but I wasn't going to quit anymore. Once I stopped doing that, I felt like this enormous load was lifted off my shoulders. And I felt like, okay, I'm home. I can do this now. So I just committed. I was going to go every week, no matter what, no matter whether I knew that I had lost or if I knew I had gained. I was still going. I was going to own up to my week. I couldn't blame the scale for what I put in my mouth. I couldn't blame Weight Watchers for what I didn't do that week. I couldn't blame anybody for the consequences of the choices I made except me. I had to own those, so I did. Settled in for the long haul, and the weight just started coming off. Some weeks I had a good loss. Some weeks I would lose 0.2. Some weeks I didn't lose anything. And then there were those dreaded weeks that we all have that I gained. But when I did, I had to own it. It wasn't that Weight Watchers didn't work. It was that I didn't work Weight Watchers that week. Either I got cocky and started tweaking, or I got cocky and didn't track, or I ate more than I should have eaten. But the choices were mine, so the consequences had to be mine too. Finally, I reached what I had felt like I had searched for 35 years. I reached goal. And I wanted to stand there on the scale in front of that room full of strangers and just weep, because what I had been searching for so many years had finally happened. And you know who I had to thank? Me. I had never thanked me for any choices I made before. I blamed me. But I had to thank me for doing something good for me. So the full circle, my rock bottom was that morning in that store. And that's what the bottom looked like to me. I didn't fit. I didn't belong. I wasn't supposed to be in that store. I was the fat girl who couldn't wear anything that store had to offer. I was invisible. Full circle. Last year, my sister-in-law was back in town, and we went back to that store. I hadn't been in there since. Even though I'd lost weight, I hadn't been in there. So I'm so sorry. So we walked in that store, and their pants are sized, but they're also different fits, and each fit has a different name. And I had not bought pants in there before, obviously. So I'm standing there looking at their pants, and this cute little sales girl came up and she said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Well, I haven't bought pants in here before, so I don't know what your sizes mean." And I was looking at a particular pair of pants, and she said, "Those are for curvy figures. Those aren't for trim ladies like you. You need this fit." And I started crying. And she looked at me like, "Oh my gosh, what did I say?" And I shared with her briefly what had happened before. And I said, "I feel like I just came full circle. I finally did it. I so badly want you to experience that feeling. But only you can get you there. You can't blame Weight Watchers. You can't blame your husband. You can't blame your coworkers. You can't blame anyone unless somebody is physically forcing food down your throat. Only you can make those choices. I want you to be able to thank yourself for the choices that you've made, because it's the most wonderful feeling in the world. I've been at Lifetime now for a while, I don't remember what month, coming up on a year, I think. And it's such an amazing feeling to go into the store and be able to buy clothes off the rack and know that they'll fit. But more than that, it's an amazing feeling to know that I'm in control of what goes in my mouth, and I have me to thank for taking care of my body. I feel better, my joints feel better, my health overall is better, but more importantly, I'm better here. It's been a long journey. It's been a rough journey at times, but it was worth it. So I encourage you, own up to it. Don't blame anyone else. Settle in for the long haul. Stop putting a calendar date on the finish line, because it doesn't matter when you finish. What matters is that you finish. There will be highs and lows. If this really is a journey, and I really believe it is, there will be times along the journey that you exit off the highway and you take a detour, and that's okay. But what's important is that you have your detour and then you get right back on the highway. Otherwise, you're never going to get to your destination. If every time you exited and had a detour, you turned around and went back to the beginning, you'd never get there. But if you get right back on the highway, you'll eventually reach your destination, and there's no greater feeling in the world than knowing that you did it. Now, once you get there, there's still work. I can't eat just anything, or I won't stay at my goal weight. So we never really finish. We just get to the place that we wanted to be, and now we enjoy staying there. I want that for you. And that's why I fight so hard to keep the sport safe and to keep it encouraging and uplifting. My battery is getting low, so I'm going to have to wrap this up pretty quick. Apparently, I talked longer than I thought I did. I don't want my phone to go dead on you, so I'll respond to your comments online. I appreciate you sharing with me. I appreciate you indulging my emotional journey this morning. And I appreciate everything you do on the board for yourself and for each other. And I encourage you to complete your journey. Just keep going. You'll thank yourself in the long run. I promise. Have a great day, and I will see you on the board. Bye.